I'm feeling good.
Good morning. How did y'all manage to colonize an entire phrase? Let's talk about this black fatigue thing. The English teacher in me is screaming because some of y'all managed to take a phrase that originated because we were sick of your shit and make it about you being sick of our shit. Black fatigue was used to describe the exhaustion and the stress that we feel as black people living amongst some of your systemic and systematic racism, and basically to sum it all up, because we ain't got a lot of time this morning, you're bullshit, okay? It's because we're tired of you. But y'all have turned that around in this discourse this weekend to be like, no, we're tired of them. We're tired of being around them where they're acting a ghetto fool. We're tired of experiencing them. We're tired of hearing about them calling us out about being racist. It's hurting our feelings to be called racist. We're just exhausted. We're tired of hearing about your rights. We're tired of hearing that you guys want equal treatment. We're just tired. But a lot of you want people to believe that you're an ally. How are you an ally if you're tired, if you're exhausted from people calling out racism, from people calling out being mistreated? How the fuck are you tired of hearing about how I am treated? You see it happening. You see it happening right in front of you, but you tired of hearing me talk about it? How the fuck y'all think we feel experiencing it? And since we're here, y'all know I'ma do it. I'ma connect this conversation to public education and school politics. Because don't be a black teacher talking about the black exhaustion that we actually are feeling and facing as teachers and students in this system.
Good morning to everyone except for April. Now, she probably never sees this message because I think she did the very cowardly thing that they do, deleted her profile. She's probably not even on TikTok anymore. But April from 𝒲𝒶𝓎 Christian School. Here's some sound advice from one of April's commenters. If the same energy went towards uplifting their own youth instead of the glorification of violence, then the world would probably care. And I'm sure you guys are uplifting our youth over there at 𝒲𝒶𝓎 Christian School. Pray there's no black kids going to that school. Another gross comment. Warning to you. And if you are a black parent and your children go to 𝒲𝒶𝓎 Christian School in Austin, Texas, I'm going to pray that you seriously consider taking your kids out of that school if this is the type of tomfoolery that they are being subjected to. And I feel qualified to say that. I went to East Haven Baptist School Church when I was a very little girl. And I want you to know that growing up as a black person or black child in very white spaces and navigating that, if you didn't grow up that way and you have your children in those spaces, and this is a separate conversation that we can have, just be prepared that there's some gymnastics that you have to do, making sure that they understand that they are safe, they are valid in who they are. They don't have to assimilate a certain way. Whatever way they organically, authentically behave is actually okay. We have centered and standardized the idea of whiteness, because really there's not just one way to be anything, white, black, Hispanic, but we've decided that there's one certain way to do everything. And if you don't fall into that narrow lane, then something's wrong with you. And it took me to be an adult to decide that's not the case, that I can be all versions of me. It's okay. And I should still be able to get a job, and I should still be able to get promoted. I should still be able to thrive and to be successful and to lead, totally embracing every component. I know we are riled up, and she deleted her post, so you maybe didn't even see, baby. It got litty. It got real buck wild in the comment section. But I want you to see it, because some of those folks, we need to know who they are too and where they work. And if they're in somebody's where they work, if they're in somebody's HR or if they're teaching somebody's children. But let me say this. This is a version of Black. A very normal, a very everyday version of Black. Right? Good morning, you guys. How are we feeling about Miss April and everything that she had the really audacity, but I'll call it caucasity, to get on the internet and spew? It bothered me. I didn't align with it. It was disturbing. Honestly, kind of scary. But I can also get on here and say, yo, it's real ridiculous. I don't know who she thinks she is, getting on the internet, saying everything that she had to say, and then being real basic about it by deleting her profile and jumping off the internet. That's real basic, bootleg, bottom of the barrel type of behavior. I have on lashes and do. See, all of this is me. All of it. All of it. So all this Black fatigue that you guys are so tired of, let's just call it what it really is. You want to be able to do what you want to do, say what you want to say to any. I was raised to keep my hands to myself, to mind my manners and mind my words. And that's not a Black thing. And that's not a white thing. It's a humanity thing. Because if you don't, you could take a chance and pick the wrong one on the wrong day. That doesn't make that person play victim. That means you got out of hand, out of bounds, out of your lane, and your entitlement walked up on something that you really weren't prepared to face. I do think that being Black has served me well in some ways for just navigating right through life, because I really was taught leave folks alone, because you just don't know what you're gonna get sometimes, right? April this all started with Shiloh. Shiloh was the first one that around and found out, because she wants to use the N-word. So there's this resurgence of conversation around the N-word. That's a whole deeper conversation. But let me just give a word of warning. If you want to use the N-word, you feel that it is your freedom of speech to use such language, go for it. But do not come crying on this internet because of the consequences of using such language, because it is an inflammatory word. And there are so many of us that feel that it is a reflection. I believe that it's a reflection of your deepest, darkest thoughts and feelings. If you're willing to use that word, it also lends us to believe that there's other things that you would do that we also don't agree with. So that's why we have a problem with the word. Because it was used to dehumanize, which I believe April aligns with, because one of the words she used in her video was animalistic. See, when you can think people are animals, when you can think that they are less human than you, that's a slippery slope, because now we can pretty much do anything to them, right? Because they're not the same as us. They're not the same as us. We're humans. We're decent. They're thugs. They're animalistic. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to share some of the screenshots so we can find out who the rest of these are.
We're literally seeing appropriation in real time. When it was Black Lives Matter, what did they do? Oh, Blue Lives Matter. All lives matter. We all matter. Then we used to always use the word woke. Oh, you're woke to what's going on in the system. Now, oh, we're woke. Woke. I don't even know what it means for them, because they just changed the definition and don't even know what the original meaning is. Like, come on now. So now they're trying to coin Black fatigue. Now they're saying they're tired of us. Oh, we're fatigued. We're exhausted because Black people are always holding us accountable. Okay. You wouldn't be tired if you didn't feel some sort of emotional pull or reaction to the facts. Like, why are you fatigued if it's not about you? Why are you fatigued if you didn't do anything? If there's no guilt inside of your body? You know what I mean? Why are you energetically taking accountability and allowing yourself to be a target about some shit that's not even about you. It's almost like ever since we've been freed, they've tried to reverse the fact that we started off as the victims. I'm not saying we're victims as people, because we're more than conquerors, okay? But like, they've tried to reverse slavery, not in the form of finances or businesses, okay, of ownership, but they try to reverse slavery from like an emotional standpoint, like, oh, I'm the victim, oh, we're so tired.
Why is racism coming back? More buzzwords to justify it. The newest one is black fatigue. Before that, it was DEI. You understand there's never anything good enough for these races, right? Let's explain what black fatigue actually is. Black fatigue is actually a book on how racism erodes the mind, body, and spirit and explores systemic racism and its effect on black people. These racists aren't even smart enough to know the definitions of the words they're using, such as DEI. Why are we giving them any attention? And why are they increasing in number? Most people that are racist have zero black friends, have never interacted with a black person in their life, but they're somehow racist still. Because they're chronically online. You chronically online people need to get a life. Yeah, you're chronically online. No wonder you're so scared and angry at everything all the time, and you're looking for an outlet, and for some reason that expression comes to making up some new crazy buzzword to be obsessed with a group of people that have no idea who you are and have never thought about you, but your entire thought process is on them. We're actually talking about race in 2025 and justifying 5-year-olds getting called slurs with autism. What? And I go outside in real life and none of y'all are outside. They're chronically online. But go ahead, keep dropping your videos. We're gonna find out who you are. We will. We're gonna find out who you are. Please make more videos. Honestly, I'm convinced a lot of racist people just got rejected by a black person or felt rejected, and this is like their life.
Black fatigue is a term that non-black people are using to express the fact that they are sick and tired of being held accountable for saying and doing whatever the hell they want to black people. They're sick and tired of black people bucking up at the system, bucking up at people, telling people, hey, you shouldn't be saying that to us. Hey, you cannot do this to us. Hey, we will not let you disrespect us. Hey, we will not let you say whatever you want and do what you want to us. People are sick and tired of being told no. That is what black fatigue is. You guys are being told no and you don't like it, especially white people. Y'all not used to black people telling you no. You don't like that. So whenever you see these white folks talk about some black fatigue, they can paint it however they want to. They can sit here and say, oh, we're just sick and tired of you guys complaining all the time. No, you guys are sick and tired of being held accountable. That's what it is. Own that.
And to the black folks that agree with those white folks, when it happens to your children, I don't want to hear nothing. And I mean nothing.
App just now to see that the word black fatigue is trending amongst a lot of different people. And before I made this video, I scrolled on it and I said, let me see what people are talking about.
Because black fatigue is real. I think society as a whole is there. We are just so unbelievably fed up with the ghetto ratchet behavior, entitlement, the victimhood,
the rattery, animalistic. This is why people have black fatigue. I'm sick and tired of opening up TikTok and seeing brawls on cruise ships, brawls in the airport, like literally the most ghetto behavior. We're tired.
A white woman was talking about Shiloh Hendrix, the lady that called the 5-year-old the N-word, and she said that shouldn't have happened, but people have black fatigue. People are tired of ghetto-ness, loudness. People are just tired of black people, so we all have fatigue. And it got me thinking, I've heard the phrase black fatigue before, and I know in my heart of hearts that that relates to the fatigue that black people experience existing in this country and around the world, dealing with racism and prejudices that have been put on us due to the history of violence, Jim Crow, segregation. So how are white people appropriating black fatigue? They replaced DEI with black fatigue. And you guys are using that because you're tired of being held accountable for things that you should be held accountable for in this country, and you want to be openly racist to us. This entire discourse is rooted in racism. You want to be able to say you're tired of black people for having a voice. You're tired of us for existing in spaces we exist in. You're tired of us for not all being poor. You're tired of the fact that some of us are doing better than you, but when we live in a country that is based on racism and systematic racism that still exists today, you can't be mad that we're calling you out for it. What the fuck are we talking about? America is a country that suffers from delusion, lack of education, and basically exists in a consistent state of dementia, because The cognitive dissonance that many white people have that exist in this country with, it alarms me. The fact that this country was founded and predicated on owning bodies and killing off natives. That is the foundation story of this country. Yes, we became one of the most successful countries in the world, but that is the heart and soul of this country. It is rooted in racism. The Declaration of Independence was rooted in racism. The Constitution was written with racism. So the fact that you think you can exist, and we're only out of segregation for how many years now? Not even a generation, not even 2 generations out of segregation. The fact that you think you can exist without racism internally inside of you is crazy. It's crazy. We're all racist. Everybody that exists out of a racist system is racist, especially if you are the one that benefited from said racism. You have to do a lot of unlearning, unpacking, and re-educating yourself onto what racism means, because you guys hear the word racism, you're like, I'm not racist, I have black friends. It doesn't mean you're going out with crosses on fire. There are levels to the internalized racism, the internalized biases versus violent, aggressive racism. But racism is the foundation of America. So the fact that you don't want to hear about it is not my problem. The funniest thing about white people in this country is that the lack of education that they have on their own history and how they've been all sold a lie and socialized to believe that they're here and we're violent and they're not is fuck. You ever seen a redneck? You ever been to a trailer park? You ever seen a meth addict in New Mexico? That all of the people on welfare in this country are white. 96% of them are white. But meanwhile, black people are poor, uneducated, animalistic, violent. All the list goes on. Your ancestors literally killed off millions of people who are on this land, stole it, raped, robbed, killed them, stole us, raped, robbed, killed us, procreated with us, and made us procreate with each other and our families. Yet the list goes on. The only people who are sick with animalistic practices are you and your ancestors. Upon further review, after seeing 5 or 6 black people make this black fatigue video, it got me thinking into the respectability politics of this type of video they're making, because not only are they generalizing the actions of all black people and lumping us into one group, you are policing the actions of people per the standardized or acceptable behavior that white people are saying that we should have. Interesting. What you're doing by making these videos is you're allowing white people to not take accountability and not hold themselves to a standard that they can just be racist and prejudiced towards us and say that their behaviors are acceptable and their way of life and living is acceptable in this country, but ours isn't. It's really befuddling me that you as a black person can go online with your chest and say you have black fatigue because everybody's ghetto, or you have black fatigue because everybody's loud. That's not the fucking case. And even if you are, quote unquote, this highly educated, highly classy black person, you're still loud. You still have an auntie who looks like the person you're talking about. You still have cousins who are the people you're talking about. So why make this video? I will never understand black people that pander to white people. I will never. There's nothing in my being that would ever allow me to have an internal conversation externally on this app, so white people feel comfortable saying how they feel about us in the open and make it a whole thing. Imagine you are allowing white persons to say they have black fatigue. They're tired of black people being victims. They're tired of black people saying racism. They're tired of black people existing. Every day on this app is something new. Y'all gotta do better. Do better.
You know what's weird? You using the term created by a black woman to be racist and complain about black people. That makes no sense. And you're using it incorrectly. And then you're yelling, we don't need your permission to use it. Nobody said you needed anybody's permission. At least use the word correctly. At least don't complain about black people while also trying to steal everything we fucking do. Cut it out. Black exhaustion, or what is it? Black fatigue. You're not using it like you think you're supposed to be using it. The cognitive dissonance that y'all have, that y'all constantly display, is astounding, and it needs to be studied. Because how are you using a term to be racist? Like you're literally proving the point of the term, why it was originally created. You're literally proving the woman's point who made the term. Y'all cannot be serious. There's no way that so many of y'all are like this. Really.
Shouts out to the CIA for the black fatigue thing they put on the internet. CIA is doing a hell of a job. DI didn't work because white women benefit from that. This black fatigue is not gonna work because as a truck driver, I got white fatigue. I go all over this country and I see nothing but white people. And then I get on the internet and white people complaining like somebody taking their land that they stole from. None of that's happening. That's why I'm suffering from white fatigue. I'm tired of it. No one's stealing your shit that you stole. Calm down.
Hi, have you heard people talking about this term called black fatigue? I've heard several people on social media mention it in the last few days, and what it is that now we're seeing all of these black people that are angry about things that most of us would never even think about. Like if you notice that in this weekend, we had all of these black elected officials that were out in front defending all of these gang members that are from other countries, gang members who are going to be deported by ICE for criminal activities. Now, the reason that that's associated with black fatigue is because we're seeing that our black elected officials throughout the country are now being used to support people that our communities would never defend. People who have preyed on our communities. I've never seen a protest defending any of the black gangs in the United States. I promise you, please find one and send it to me. Unless it was something that was major, like a shooting that was unjustified or something like that, you don't even see black Congress people out defending them. You don't see black mayors defending them, our own black gangs. But for some reason, we have all of these black elected officials that are now defending all of these criminals from other countries. That's a part of black fatigue. We're tired of it. We're tired of being used by globalists. And you know, one thing I heard years ago, I heard a comment that some of the globalists had made that they were going to bring down the United States by using black people because we would start using the term racism whenever anything happened, and we would not concentrate on important things. He said that we were the easiest to manipulate. And now I think we're seeing the result of that. That black women are allowing themselves to be used by globalists, and the globalists are doing things that I would say probably 95% or even higher of black people would not defend. But they are putting us out in front to fight these battles that are their battles. Those are not our battles. A gang member from El Salvador or from anywhere else is not the main focus of the average black American. And that's why everybody is talking about now this black fatigue. And the fatigue comes from not real issues that affect us, but issues that are created to cause chaos within our communities, chaos within the United States, so that now we have racial tensions that we would not ordinarily have. The purpose of globalism is to cause chaos throughout communities, throughout states, throughout the country, so that we will not stand together and make sure that the United States survives. And so now what are they doing? They're using black people for it. Let's look at this. This does not represent black people.
This is the real secretary, okay? Like, you heard it from her, okay? This is the real press secretary. Okay. The other one don't know shit.
This is not who we are. This is not who we were raised to be. These people do not represent us. It's kind of like when Kamala was running for office and when she was doing her campaign tour, that she got all of these people twerking on stage and all of that. You know what? There are a lot of professional black people, and those are the people who used to speak for our politicians when we had real politicians who were Americans and they weren't globalists. Anyway, black fatigue to me is tied to the globalist movement, and the goal is to put black people out in front so we can look like the ones that are always violent, always angry, always champion these causes that have nothing to do with us and our communities.
just a quick PSA. If we continue to post the book, Black Fatigue, we only help our narrative. They thought they was doing something by creating this buzzword of Black Fatigue, when really, they're helping the author and they're helping push the narrative along that there is a true thing called Black Fatigue. We are sick and tired. And let me just say this for a side note for those who haven't read the book. One of the best things that the ex did for me and through our relationship was he educated me on the importance of reading materials, the importance of understanding where you are and how you are truly feeling and connecting the real dots. So when I read the book, Black Fatigue, I literally understood. I'm not mad. I'm not angry. I'm not bitter. I'm not unhappy. I'm tired. I was tired. And once I identified where I became tired and how I became tired, oh my God, the world changed. It truly changed. I got to see where that fatigue was coming from, and I started to remove myself so I can realign and reshift my energy. Don't let this administration trick you with the language that they're trying to use. Let it empower you. Read the book. Purchase the book. Support the author. Purchase and post. Let Black Fatigue be the language that we're using, because it's a real thing for us. It's not their word. It's ours. Just like woke. Black Fatigue. Post the book. Just saying.
This is what Black Fatigue really is. Take a moment to read it. Also, do your own research on what it is. Don't let white people tell you that Black Fatigue is us fighting and us complaining. Don't let them put such negative connotations on it. Although Black Fatigue is not a good feeling, it is something that is uniquely ours and it belongs to us. It is time that white people stop taking things from Black people, or at least attempting to take things from Black people, and turn it into something to laugh at. No, you will not use Black Fatigue as a slur. Not yesterday, not today, not tomorrow, not ever. It's not going to happen. Take accountability for the actions of your people in the past and in the present. And that is the problem, because your demographic has yet to take accountability for the wrongs, the atrocities that have been done and continue to be done against Black people in the United States of America. We live constantly every day with Black fatigue. No matter your socioeconomic status, no matter your station in life, it does not matter. No matter how light your skin is or how dark your skin is, every Black person in this country lives with Black fatigue. I want you to focus on the part that says it is a state of being worn down by the cumulative effect of racial microaggressions, traumatic news cycles, and the need to constantly prove one's worth. You don't believe us when we say we're wrong. You don't believe us when we cry. You don't believe us when we yell. You don't believe us when we scream. And that's not on us. That is on you. You have to ask yourself, why don't I believe Black people? Ask yourself that question. Also, ask yourself the question is, why do you think someone's pain is funny? Anywho, I love y'all. Y'all be good to each other. Deuces out.
Okay, everybody. I'm in Atlanta. And guys, I know the big thing right now is Black fatigue. I got Black fatigue because it's always your own people. I'm in Atlanta. I just dealt with the most rudest staff at this hotel. Luckily, I went to a better place, but let's stop doing too much. Black people, sometimes we do too much. We do too much on our own people. We do too much on everyone else. Everybody's tired. I'm Black and I got Black fatigue. And also the hypocrisy has to be addressed. Let's not get to the point where, we can spew out all the stuff like the Carmelo Anthony case. We can spew out all this racist hate and white supremacy and all this. The moment white people that, even some of the ones that are innocent that haven't, even been racist, they say anything or they say Black fatigue, now liberals are spinning it that we're twisting it. No, we have it too.
They're calling it black fatigue, but what you really mean is I'm tired of loving wounded black people. You can just say that part with your chest. That's what you wanted to say. You're not tired because we're toxic. You're tired because your love had conditions. Yours. You didn't come to heal, you came to curate. You came to save a version of black society that was already fixed and no one praised you for it. And when we didn't perform your healing fantasy, you called it draining. This archetype always shows up during collapse, the one that confuses proximity with pain and with proof that they're better than it. Right? They have proof that they're better than it. That's how they see it, right? But you have to understand that you're not above the wound just because you narrate it from a distance. You're just protecting your image in the mirror while the rest of us are still trying to stitch it back together. You didn't transcend us. You abandoned us. Real black love doesn't tap out when it gets loud. It doesn't leave when the wounds resurface. It metabolizes. It listens longer. It doesn't call the hood low vibrational just because it got a better apartment. Love doesn't require perfection. It requires presence. And some of y'all don't have love for us, and that's cool. That's what I'm trying to get it at. It's cool, but I need you to know that the left is something you can get over. You could, right? And if you really tired, rest, right? If you're actually tired, but don't call that healing. That's retreat, because this ain't fatigue. It's spiritual gentrification we're watching, and these are spiritually gentrified people. You're not leaving because you're broken. You're leaving because our brokenness didn't fit your aesthetic anymore. And I need you to hear me clearly. We are not your inconvenience. Okay, we're not. We are your mirror, and if you truly heal, you'd still be here with us, not above us, right? So I get it, right? This is one thing I think is absolutely true. You do not have to like every black space, but don't ever use fatigue as an excuse to stop loving the ones who never had that option to leave. Just stupid shit. I wanted to tell a joke in this video, but these people upset me a lot.
No, brother, what? We can't allow you to divert from attention. Stick to the topic. Who the fuck is we? Do you even know who you are in this conversation? Do we even know what black fatigue actually means? See, the fact that Black Fatigue is actually a book about black people dealing with, coping with, navigating the systemic racism issues that are in play and not seeing enough progress, going through it. That's what it means. But once again, colonizers be colonizing, right? So they're white-splaining their lack of understanding of what black fatigue is, and then you're running with it. The same way they did with woke. The same way they did with critical race theory. But let's play a game called We and They. When we are fighting on cruise ships, when we are looting or damaging property in our own communities, they don't really care. You know why? Because when we do that, we don't bring any harm to them and their community. But when they pass legislation that reduces career opportunities and advancement for people of color, when they do things like freeze the Civil Rights Division of the FBI, reducing opportunities to have federal oversight for egregious systemic racial issues, and they feel so emboldened that a racist white woman will call a slur to a 5-year-old child and then be able to raise almost millions of dollars and have millions of people supporting her under the disguise of freedom of speech, we have a fucking problem. It's evident you don't play chess, because if you did, you'd understand the chess moves that have been made around you, right? They reduce our job opportunities. They reduce our ability to fight in the courts to get justice. And now what this clown and many others are doing right now with this whole Black Fatigue campaign is an effort to drown our voice. That's what they're doing. They're trying to desensitize people to the point, while racism is on the rise and we have who we have in the Oval Office, they want it to a point where people don't care, won't hear what black people have to say, even when we're voicing things that are absolutely happening every single day to us. This is all by design. Now, you won't know that because I look at your page and I see that you spend more time talking about liberals and chastising, mocking Kamala Harris, which tells me everything I need to know about you. But Martin Luther King said it many times and made it very clear that the riot is the voice of the unheard. So right now, they're trying to reduce our opportunities to affect us socially and economically. They're trying to reduce our ability to go through the courts or to escalate things, because where are you going to go? The Department of Justice, the Supreme Court, and now they're trying to numb the world to our pain by ignoring our voice. And when we have no voice, then we have no way to communicate what's really going on. And that's why I checked this clown from the original post at the door he tried to come through. Because they want us to become a powdered keg and riot and get into the streets, because that's exactly what they're trying to push us to do. And see, in 2025, we are not standing for the bullshit. Not from this clown or nobody else. We know that. And they know that too. You don't, which is why you speak with the oppressor's tongue. And you know why you don't? Because like them, you are not like us either.
They not like us. They not like us. They not like us.
Black fatigue. This is where we at now. Imagine how we feel. Y'all even colonized that. Like, black fatigue is not what y'all created it to be. It was the fatigue of black people having to exist in this country and dealing with all y'all dumb shit. We were tired, not y'all. Imagine telling the internet that you're tired of all the ghetto-ness and the ratchetness and all of the fights when y'all are quite literally the godfathers of violence in this country. And then all the ghetto and ratchet speak, your kids are emulating exactly what we say and calling it Gen Alpha and Gen Z speak when it was just AAVE repackaged to be palatable for white people. What are we talking? Like, y'all are quite literally exhausting. But like 8.5 by 11s are going to do this all the time. I'm not worried about the hueless. However, the black people getting on and co-signing the black fatigue to make white people feel better could not be me. I imagine agreeing with white people when they aren't even picking you. Super weird. But like, sure, being held accountable for your racist ideology. If I were white and I had to constantly hear that black people are right and then it proves out and you're sitting there being mad, yeah, I'd be mad too. I too would be annoyed if I were half the age of black women but looked twice as old as them. Yeah, I'd be pissed too. So like, hold your black fatigue and raise yourself some accountability. Because, happy Monday, y'all. Black fatigue, shut up.
Here are 50 things that have given me white fatigue. And the list could go on, but here are just 50. Karens calling the police on black people for just existing, mass shooters being described as troubled young men, cultural appropriation without any appreciation, white people in locks talking about spirituality, all lives matter, I don't see color, white creators becoming famous for watered down versions of black culture, profiting off of black trauma on social media, weaponizing white tears, white savior complexes in real life and movies. I have a black friend as a get out of racism free card, white teachers punishing black students for being disruptive, gentrification marked as urban revitalization, being followed in grocery stores like you don't belong, police called because someone looks suspicious, white-led DEI training with no actual change, white people going viral for dances black people made, why is it always about race with you, the obsession with controlling black hair, the criminalization of AAVE in schools and work, centering whiteness in conversations that aren't about them, singing the N-word because it's just a lyric, the legacy of colonization and pretending it's ancient history, slavery being taught as a necessary evil, internment camps being brushed over in history class, the Trail of Tears being summarized in a paragraph, mass incarceration of black and brown people, Confederate flags being called heritage, get over it was a long time ago, white people crying in HR and getting people fired, white tears when equity feels like a loss of power, denying white privilege when benefiting from it, whitewash media stories, white-run nonprofits helping black communities while not listening, demanding emotional labor while doing none themselves, wearing blackface as a joke, screaming reverse racism like it's real, appropriating AAVE, using it wrong, watching black plain like it's a Netflix genre, MLK quotes using to shame black protests, demanding calm from oppressed people while being violent, policing tone instead of hearing truth, stolen land turned into suburbs and golf courses, white men running diversity campaigns, asking can I touch your hair like it's normal, white people calling things ghetto while profiting from the aesthetic, voting for oppression and acting shocked by the results when everyone fucking told you so, posting black squares thinking that that's activism, not all white people when no one gaffs, and thinking black fatigue is about you.
Where's the wealth gap fatigue? Where's profiling black people because you don't believe that they belong in a neighborhood fatigue? Where's the bad parenting because the bulk of your kids are pugning schools fatigue? Where's stealing black content creators' content and not crediting them fatigue? Where's crying white woman tears when you are the offender fatigue? Where?
Now I know
None of you are saying this type of stuff anymore. None of you should be. When your heroes, the apartheid man bride and Tangerine Palpatine himself, they got a double-double between baby mamas and children. And if you add in their crimes against humanity, they putting up Jokic and Wilt type numbers just in time for the playoffs. I mean, sure, they know they have the kids. Well, they know about some of them, but they aren't really raising them. Let's be serious. Which leads me to 99.9% of what we are exhausted by as black people with you guys, which is your hypocrisy. Oh, yes, for me, but not for thee. That attitude. And my question is, what makes you so special that you can sit there and be like, yes, for me and not for thee? Let's be serious. Also, 4,522. That's probably the amount of times I've heard something just like this in my lifetime.
Playing both the victim and the aggressor whenever you don't get your way. Treating the store like a daycare center and letting your badass kid run amok hyped up on Pixie Six and Go-Go Juice. Using the bathroom and not washing your hands. The quickness to call me racial slurs whenever you don't get your way. Lack of accountability. Lack of self-awareness. An unearned sense of entitlement to everything. Thinking you have more knowledge than the person who is literally trained to work there. Hate to break it to you, saying my ethnic name with a hostile attitude and mispronouncing it on purpose, even after I corrected you to say my name correctly, is part of why I refuse to use my name tag. Tired of that. Wearing racist paraphernalia and then making their way to my register in hopes that I would react negatively to it. Treating me like the help. Treating the store like your personal resort / living / vacation where everyone is supposed to wait on you hand and foot. Leaving trash everywhere you go because you believe it's somebody else's job to pick up after you. Be aggressive as hell to me, but then play the victim when you get the manager. Being verbally abusive when you don't get your way, and then getting surprised when you're not getting service. Dealing with your nonsense day after day after day after day after day, and then slowly hating humanity because of y'all.
Wait, let me get this straight. So I just had heard and seen a couple of TikToks talking about black fatigue or something. And supposedly it's related to white folks getting tired of being told not to be racist. What? Wait. If y'all tired of being told not to say shit because it's racist, what the hell y'all think we going through? What the hell y'all think we are experiencing in this damn country every damn day? Why y'all think we in the state we in?
Talk about Shiloh Hendrix, the woman who called a 5-year-old a racial slur. My first impression after watching the video, a little bit of white trash. I have to be honest, the kid was 5. I have worked with 5-year-olds for the last 15 years. Absolutely everything they do is out of pocket. They're like little unhinged drunk people. Nothing they do makes sense. A 5-year-old is capable of rifling through somebody's bag and taking things that don't belong to them. Ask any kindergarten teacher. But I realize why so many people are wanting to defend this, because Black fatigue is real. I think society as a whole is there. We are just so unbelievably fed up with the ghetto ratchet behavior, entitlement, the victimhood, that they want to praise this woman. But what she did is not praiseworthy. But also on the same hand, please remember that every day that us white people get on this app, we get called racial slurs every single day. So if you don't want to be called a racial slur, you also have to stop calling people racial slurs. You can't talk out of both sides of your mouth. But for the love of God, please leave the children out of it. Adults are stupid, they're gonna do stupid things. But you're a different level of stupid when you bring kids into it. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk.
She'll be watching her back for the rest of her life. Yeah, because that's not thuggery, hydrattery, animalistic. This is why people have black fatigue. When you act like this. It's not normal behavior. People do stupid stuff. People say stupid stuff. That's life. It's not normal to threaten to unalive people because you don't like what they're doing. But here we are. People are getting sick and tired of opening up TikTok and seeing brawls on cruise ships, brawls in the airport, like literally the most ghetto behavior. We're tired. We're tired of it. But then whining and complaining and acting like it's not your fault that you act that way. Yeah, we're kind of over it.
As a biracial man, I've spent my whole fucking life looking at race from both sides and all that shit. And it's so fucking interesting that your media, the shit that you consume, will have you conflating the behavior of a small group of people with an entire population. We got black fatigue. You got black fucking fatigue? Are you kidding me? You're crazy. Look at that stat. Look at the stat. If 7 out of 10 motherfuckers getting arrested are white, and yet on your news and in your fucking feed, all you're seeing are black people acting the fucking fool, why do you think that is? Why? Because they know what you want to see. You want to see shit that's going to confirm your bias, that's going to justify your racism, so that you can say something stupid like, we got black fatigue. Are you fucking kidding me? And by the way, that 13% that's running amok that you're fatigued over, yeah, we receive 51.3% of all the racial hate crimes. One group, 13% of the population, is getting half of the hate crimes against them. Yeah, I'm glad you're fatigued. God forbid, because you and people like you have never done anything for us. And so just stand on it. Just stand on it. You don't have to tell us who you fucking voted for. We know.
Imagine trying to pass off your racism as frustration, and in doing so, colonizing the term black fatigue. Black fatigue is a term that refers to the physical and psychological exhaustion experienced by many black people due to repeated exposure to racism, discrimination, and systemic injustice over time. Right now, the entire world is suffering from white exhaustion. White people are only 7% of the world's population. And yet somehow you have always been, are now, and will always be the absolute most violent creatures on the planet. The way you people consume welfare needs to be studied. I, for one, am tired of working overtime to pay my taxes so that you can sit your ass on welfare in your trailers, in your trailer parks, smoking meth. I'm exhausted from waking up every day and seeing that somewhere all over the world, white men have again felt entitled to the bodies of children. But you're never ready to have those conversations. Nobody's children is safe around you. I'm tired of opening up social media and seeing that someone has posted a video of some white woman somewhere committing bestiality. Other countries that are not predominantly white hate to see you coming. Destroy and disrespect every culture, everything good that you come across and always have. White exhaustion is real. And if you're so unhappy here, if you don't like the way things are, feel free to go back to Europe. I hear there's caves available in the Caucasus Mountains. Feel free to bon voyage. Please feel free to pack you, your future school shooters, and future child predators up and go and move to Europe. If you don't like it here, then leave. Expeditious.
You sour cream coochie having ass bitch gonna sit up in a motherfucking video talking about black fatigue. Black fatigue. Bitch, can we talk about white exhaustion? Because I'm tired. Let me bust this cranberry sauce open for y'all real quick. That wench set her ass up in that video talking about she's tired of ratchetness and ghetto-ness. White people are the most ghetto people ever. Y'all have an entire stereotype for black people to be using government assistance and for immigrants to be using government assistance when really white people take up 60% of government assistance programs. Clock that T. And if I do say so myself, baby girl, white people have literally stolen so much shit. Like, y'all are known thieves. Y'all are known thieves that get away with thievery. And y'all call it inspiration. As soon as a black person made country music, white people snatched that shit up and colonized the fuck out that shit. And they pretend like black people don't have a right to sing no country music. The same very white people that y'all sit up and praise through history have beaten off of black creativity. And y'all want to call us ratchet and ghetto, baby. Oh, well, I'll be ratchet and ghetto all day. That means that I'm an original bitch. At least I'm not like you.
White people have co-opted the word black fatigue to mask racism and say racist and prejudiced tropes about us online. I figured I'd make a video to describe my white fatigue, my white malaise, my white exhaustion. FYP shows you what you're looking for. So if you're saying you're opening TikTok and all you're seeing is brawls and fights of black people, look within. Because why are you searching for us? Why are you monitoring us? You guys have the biggest monitoring spirits of life. If you're so tired of us, just leave us alone. I'm tired of white criminals. White people commit 70% of the crimes and arrests in this country. No such thing as black on black crime. You guys created that to continue to paint us as savages. Meanwhile, you guys are the ones committing all the crime. I'm tired of kids not being safe in school because people are being shot by white boys and girls in school. I'm tired of mass shootings in public places. I'm tired of bombers blowing up races, blowing up buildings. White people killing people. I'm tired of white serial killers. I'm tired of you guys praising white serial killers and then glorifying them by making movies and TV shows. White men committing crime and not going to jail. Stealing money from people's grandparents and stealing money from citizens and then you give them more and more. I'm tired of you guys causing the conditions for people not to be developed around the world or undeveloped and then label them as third world countries, second world countries, and then blame them for the reason that they're not developed, even though you're the reason they're not developed. I'm tired of being exposed to food that's been seasoned with air and imagination because these cows and chickens didn't have to die for no reason. I'm tired of Karens not minding their own business and then when confronted about the business they didn't mind, then they have white tears, which then cause harm to white bodies, which then predicates police brutality, which you guys are the ones that perpetrate. I'm tired of the fact that your grandparents and your great-grandparents caused the conditions for black people to live in ghettos, black people not to own homes, black people not to have access to education, access to funds and programs, and then blame us for living in the ghetto and then blame us for the violence that we are subject to and then blame us for the conditions that we live in. Wow. Story after story of teachers having inappropriate relationships with their teenage students. Tired of the white hoods and KKK and the neo-Nazis, some which just got attacked in Ohio because they felt entitled to be openly racist. Really confused and tired about those rock concerts where you guys go ahead and beat each other up, but we're savages? Very savage, uncouth ghetto behavior. Beating each other up for fun at concerts? Tired of the opioid crisis. I'm tired of white middle-class men who are criminals who all they care about is the bottom line and they willingly put drugs into the system which kill kids and which kill college students. Wow. I'm tired of seeing overweight people in my 600-pound life not doing anything with themselves and living off the government. I'm tired of white people being the largest recipients of welfare in this country and DEI programs. I'm tired of the history that you guys created in this country to the point where my parents are the first people in my family that integrated schools. My parents are the first people in my family that had full rights. Not even my mother, sorry, my dad was maybe. And you guys acting like it's not real. That's what I'm tired of. Have a beautiful day, white folk. White people have co-opted black fatigue so they can spew hate and racist things towards us online. So I made a part 1 of this video and there was a few fragile white men in my comments. So I said, you know what, let me make a part 2 because the list is actually endless. Do you know how juvenile and lazy it is to say you have fatigue of an entire race of people and you're saying it with your whole chest online? Jokes also write themselves because in true fashion, you colonize a term that already exists and try to repackage it like it's your own because black fatigue is an actual thing. But let's dive in. Telling us that slavery was so long ago and we should forget about it when my parents literally were the first people in my family born with full rights. Not my mom because she's a woman. Tired of the media making the actions of one black or brown person represent the entirety of the groups when a white man can go shoot up a black church and be fed Burger King after. Being the highest perpetrators of shoplifting, but we're the ones that are followed in stores, we're the ones that are questioned, and we're the ones that are stopped when white middle-class women steal the most. I'm tired of cults, the KKK, the Proud Boys, the neo-Nazis, the militias, who work 10 times as hard and be the best in the room but missing out on opportunities, being 10 times better than you but being compared to mediocrity like Beyonce versus Taylor Swift. Criminalizing black women's natural hair and then doing things like wear braids that black women wear but say, but Vikings wore the braids, or try to make fun of women for wearing wigs when you criminalize their hair for the past 500 years so that things like the perm exist. Consistently telling us to pick ourselves up by our bootstraps when all of your grandfathers came back from the war and got handouts from the government. The majority of the white middle class exists because of handouts and welfare. Meanwhile, we weren't allowed to benefit from being war veterans because we're black. Then you tell us things like redlining isn't real, that gerrymandering isn't real, and that we're just all American. As if race doesn't matter. White fragility and white tears. Karens who called the police on black people for existing, like doing things like barbecuing in the park or sitting outside of our own homes. Destroying our cities when your team loses or conversely wins a game, meanwhile calling us thugs and looters for when we protest when black people are murdered on camera. White men who think the world revolves around them and that we owe them something. Being subjected to food made from fruit, jello, and cheese and everything comes out of a can. Cultural appropriation versus appreciating. Cosplaying black people, wearing our clothes, wearing our style, taking our music, taking our dances, repackaging it, and then trying to sell it to the general public like you came up with it. Consistently making yourselves the victim after we experience police brutality, recorded on phones, killing people consistently, and then saying, blue lives matter, all lives matter, reinforcing the fact that black lives doesn't matter because what you guys are professional gaslighters. I'm exhausted that Law & Order SVU is real and based off real stories because white men can't be trusted to be alone with kids or women. Tired of Ponzi schemes existing and being the status quo and these guys never being charged or arrested, and things like Firefest can go have a round 2. Voting against basic human rights and then having the privilege to say, I regret my vote, I regret being MAGA. Policing of women's bodies while condoning violence against women. Your grandparents who participated in burning down of black establishments, black villages, and black towns when black people made money during segregation, leading to a decline in black wealth. Gentrification of black neighborhoods, black culture, black style, black music, and black dances, and then profiting from it. Villainizing black people when no other race has committed more harm and atrocities around the world to men, women, and children. So you guys can continue to deflect and hold yourselves unaccountable for all the things we're saying. You can continue to live in a world where you believe black people shouldn't exist and don't matter, and you can continue to live with the cognitive dissonance that you do not exude racism out of your body. Have the day you deserve, white folks.
Leave black people the fuck alone and keep our goddamn names out your mouth. Good day.